This man needs no introduction. George Taylor is one of the longest-running presenters at this very conference. George likely remembers coming up here when there were only 15 people in the audience, gas was less than $1 a gallon, and we were all nearly 20 years younger than we are today. In fact, some of the teenage attendees here today were likely in diapers or not yet even born. That kind of dates everybody. When asked for a formal introduction to today's conference, George simply replied, in true George Taylor fashion, "My name is George Taylor. I believe we've met." So without further ado, it is my pleasure to introduce to you the guitar-slinging, La Niña singing, retired Oregon State climatologist and meteorologist from Corvallis, Oregon, Mr. George Taylor.
Hi, everybody. This is just a prop. I don't really play it. Yes, you do. Play me. I'll play you later. Well, there's been so much good information, and I have similar information, and that means I can skip mine and get to the chase. Current conditions, you already know this. And there you go. We're in a La Niña. We've been in a La Niña for a couple of years. You already saw it. You want to see that again? There it is. I use an analog approach. I've used it for a long time. And basically, history tends to repeat itself. And if you see similar patterns to what you've seen before, then it's likely that the effects of those patterns will be at least somewhat similar. So we have some general trends for La Niñas and El Niños, and then we have these long-term things that happen. Things like the PDO. The PDO chart at the bottom shows the reds and the blues are essentially, not exactly, but essentially El Niños in the red and La Niñas in the blue. And over the course of time, you have about an equal number of El Niños and La Niñas, but in actuality, they tend to be bunched up into periods of about 25 years each. And we're in a period that over the last 10 years has been dominated by the blues. There have been some reds, but more blues than reds. This is a map. You don't care about this. We're all hungry. If you take the PDO and do a smoothing on it, and this is done by Bob Tisdale, he took a 10-year smoothing to say what are the real long-term, essentially decadal trends in PDO, and this is what they look like. There's a spike in the 30s and 40s with a lot of El Nino events. Another spike in the 80s through most of the 90s. Again, mostly El Niños, and then the more La Niña-driven negative PDO in the middle, which coincided with the 50s, 60s, early 70s, with a lot of wet years, a lot of snow, flooding, and so on. And now we're moving back downward again, and we have been over about the last 10 years. What does that say about the future? History tends to repeat itself. Okay, here are my analog matches, and this is kind of cool because I'm seeing other people come up with the same years using different indicators. If I look at PDO conditions, the ones that matched this year the most closely were those years right there. And in terms of MEI, which is a multivariate ENSO index, the best matches were in the next group. And the one that's in both sets is 2008. That's what Pete identified, that's what Jim identified. For both of those guys, their top analog year was 2008. 3 different people using 3 different techniques to come up with the same answer. Now that doesn't necessarily say we're going to get a big snowstorm in December, or a series of snowstorms in December, but it says that there may very well be some similarities. This is cumulative precipitation, month by month, adding them up together for the Willamette Valley for the analog years, and the dark blue line, the thick one, is the long-term average. 3 of the 4 analog years were above average. The one that was below was 2001, which was just a weird year. I still can't figure out what happened in 2001, even in retrospect. In terms of temperature anomalies, this is the first half of winter in 2008, showing no big deal. Cool along the coast, warm inland, average in the Willamette Valley. Temperature anomalies, second half of the winter of 2008-2009 being negative in the northwest, so cool second half. And precipitation about average in the first half and a little bit below average in the second. That's what the long-term indicators are. What really matters is turning it into a song. So that's what I'm going to do now. And then I'll give you my bottom line forecast. How many of you remember a song by the Temptations called My Girl? How many of you are willing to try to help me sing a version of? Come on now. Help me here. I only have 6 hands raised. How many of you will at least sort of try, even softly, so you don't embarrass yourself, to help me sing? How many of you know the tune to My Girl, whatever it's like? Okay. Some of you could do the bass part if you want. You could do this part. Oh, or you could just sing the words with me. Whichever you want to do. Yeah, just sing the words with me. So here we go. And this is going to really contain my forecast, not just for the Northwest, but for the whole U.S. There's no sunshine in the skies today. It's gonna rain, rain, rain till the month of May. Is that too high a key for you? There's no sunshine. We'll do it in G. In the skies today. It's gonna rain, rain, rain till the month of May. Oh, I exaggerated a little bit there. I guess you say, why do I get wet today? La Niña. Talking about La Niña, La Niña. You know, don't you, that La Niña means the girl in Spanish? So to sing one to the tune of My Girl makes perfectly good sense. And I do have an El Nino song. How many of you have heard the El Nino song? Well, we're not doing that today. We're not verse 2. Sorry, I have to stop. Okay, there. There'll be so much snow in the mountains this year. And lowland flooding, baby, is something to fear. Sing it! I guess you say, why is there a flood today? La Niña. Talking about La Niña, La Niña. I have a third verse. We got to go beyond our geographic region. Here it is. It's going to be a dry, dry winter down in L.A. Drought in Arizona, all along the southern way. I guess you say, why is it so dry today, La Niña? Talking about La Niña, La Niña. And this is the part where you just sing whatever you want to sing and everybody sings something different. Talking about La Niña, there's no sunshine in the skies today, it's La Niña. Might even flood today, La Niña. Talking about La Niña. La Niña! Okay, so back to the science here. But just for one slide. Just for one. Okay, benign early season. I don't think November is going to be a big happening month. That's what Jim said too. Cool. Above average mountain snowfall for the winter. Average ski season opening date. I think Meadows is probably going to open by Thanksgiving. I hope. Significant precipitation totals, it's gonna rain a lot. And it's gonna be on the cool side of average, overall. Now, why did it say slightly below average precipitation? I don't know. Well, it's, see, one of those is right, so I'll say. I got it right. Bullet number 5. And a good chance of low elevation snow. I think especially January. I think things are going to be kind of calm. They're going to transition in December. Jim said that too. And then the second half of winter is going to be the more active. And as far as spring goes, I really think we're not going to have as cool and wet a spring as we've had for the last 2 springs. I think this is going to be more like an average spring. And the farmers hope I'm right. They really hope I'm right, and I think we're at the end. Yes, we are. Slow start will make up for lost time. That's the bottom line. Time to eat.
Great job. Like how everybody's saying.